Hi everybody, Michael here with Burke's Nature. I hope that you're having a great day. We were supposed to do a fishing program coming up, a family fishing program where you could join me at Blue Marsh Lake for a free day of fishing where we supply the poles, the bait, and we have a license so that if you don't have a fishing license, you would have been able to fish with us. Unfortunately, due to the COVID, we are no longer able to gather in groups, so our family fishing program that was supposed to happen the Saturday in June will no longer be happening. So instead, I thought I would take this time to do a little program and teach you the basics of fishing so that even though we can't fish together, if you've never fished or if you want to take your kids fishing and you've never done it before, this quick little tutorial should be able to help guide you in what you need to do. So what we're going to learn today is called smart fishing. And smart fishing, it stands for the S. Stands for safety. So when you're out fishing, you want to make sure that you're safe. When you're casting, you want to make sure nobody's behind you or around you so that you can hook them and hurt them. And just pay attention to your surroundings so that when you're fishing, you're safe about it. The second part, the M in smart fishing, is manners. Making sure you know who's around you. If somebody's already fishing, don't come up and crowd them and get in their way. Just make sure that when you're out fishing, you have manners. You want to do to other people what you would want other people to do to you. So that's the M, that's the S, and the M. So now we're on to the A for smart fishing, S-M-A-R-T. So the A stands for appreciate. You want to appreciate everything around you. Luckily in Pennsylvania, we have clean water with fish in it so that you are able to go fishing. Right now I'm here at Angelica Park. You can see it behind me. And our stream has just been upgraded to cold water conservation, and we have naturally reproducing brown trout in our creek. So when you're out fishing, stop, take a minute, take a breath, look around you, and just appreciate all the beauty that is around you. Appreciate the fact that we have water that is fishable, and just generally have fun while you're out there. So now we're on to the R. So the R for smart stands for release. I am a big catch and release person. I firmly believe that when I'm out enjoying the sport, I like to release the fish so that the next person that goes fishing can have a chance to catch that fish. Don't keep a fish just to keep it or get it mounted. Make sure that you release that fish so that it can maybe produce babies, have more fish, and then other people can then go out and catch that. And the last part of smart, which is what I'm doing right now, is called teach. So you want to teach other people if you know how to fish. If you're out there and you see somebody struggling or not knowing how to cast or having issues, be polite, walk up and give them a hand. Now, under the COVID restrictions, that is not doable. So I don't want you to go up and start teaching people right now, but a smart fisherman will teach other people how to fish. So when you're out fishing, make sure that you are a smart fisherman. So smart fishing came about from the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. I am actually a certified fishing instructor for the state of Pennsylvania. So that is where this smart fishing came from. It actually is something that Pennsylvania recommends, and they have instructors who go around and teach it. So what we just learned, the smart fishing, S-M-A-R-T, safety, manners, appreciate, release, and teach, is actually a program designated by the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the two different main types of poles that you might use while you're out fishing. We're going to go over them, and then I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how to actually use that pole. So the first thing we're going to look at is your standard spin rod. So this is a spin rod, and it doesn't have a button here. It has a little flip mechanism here. All right, so this is your standard spin rod, and the way it works is this right here is holding your string. So what you're going to do is put the string so that it's right up here by the rest of the pole. You're going to take your finger, you're going to grab the string, you're then going to flip the mechanism, and that unlocks the string. So then what you're going to do is you're going to go back and forward and release your finger, And when you release your finger, it will then go. Now, I'm not using a hook. This is a safety weight that you use for training and learning how to become a fisherman. So one more time. So we hold our finger with the string, flip the mechanism, we go back and forward. Now, when we go forward, wherever the tip of the pole is, when you release your finger, that's where it's going to go. So we go back, forward, release the finger. I released my finger too early, so it went to the right. We're going to reel in. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to release my finger later. And now it went perfectly straight out from me. So if I was fishing, that's where I would want it. Now, if I was fishing, there's different ways of fishing. I would either, if I had a bobber and a hook and a worm, I would cast out and I would just let it float and wait for the bobber to go. If I was using a lure, something like a spinner or some type of rubber worm, you're going to want to reel in at a steady speed depending on what you're using and try to get the fish to chase it. If you're a beginner fisherman, I highly recommend bobber fishing because it's very nice and easy. You just cast out and then you let it sit and wait until the bobber goes. Oh, the other thing, after you cast, so we're going to do this again. So after you cast, you're going to cast, and then before you reel in, you have to click the mechanism again so that it grabs the string. Once it grabs the string, then you are safe to reel in. So this is a standard spin rod. You can get them all over the place. They're rather inexpensive. You can pick them up sometimes for as cheap as $10, $15 for a whole setup, even with a little tackle box. So very inexpensive. And then if you're over 16, you have to go and get your fishing license from the state of Pennsylvania. You can do that at Dick's. You can do that at Walmart. You can do that online. You can do it, you don't even have to go to a store to get it. So if you're over 16, make sure that you get a fishing license. If you're under 16, you do not need one. So that is the standard spin rod. This is a push button rod. So this is the type of rod that I started out on when I was a kid. To me, it's easier to learn on one of these, but I've heard other people that say it's just as easy to learn on a spin rod. But for me, I think the push button is a little easier to start with, especially for kids. Again, these are also rather inexpensive. You can get these in kits that, again, starting at $10, $20 for a rod. It will come with hooks. They're very inexpensive. So how do you use this one? So on here is a button, and most people go to hold it like this first, with this on the bottom. That is the wrong way to hold one of these. You actually want to hold it like this. Now, the way this one works is there's a button here. And when I push that button, nothing happens. But as soon as I release that button, the string comes out. And then when you turn this, it auto clicks and it stops the string from coming out. So that's why I think it's really easy to learn how to use one of these. In order to cast, all you're going to do is push the button. Don't let go. You want to hold the button. And then you're going to go back. You're going to go forward and release the button. So releasing the button will allow the string to come out. To reel in, you just spin. There's no extra movements. You don't have to click any mechanisms. All you have to do is turn the wheel and it will start to come back in, and it will prevent the string from coming out again. But again, as soon as I hit the button and release it, it releases the string until I move that once and then it clicks. So just like any pole, wherever the tip is pointing when you release the button is where the weight or where your hook is going to go. So push the button, come back, forward, and release. And I released my finger when the pole was straight in front of me, so the hook or the bobber or whatever was on here will go perfectly straight. And then to reel in, you're just going to spin and reel in. And no matter what type of pole you're using, fishing's done all the same way. It's a matter of what you have on the end of your pole. If you have a bobber and a hook, you're going to cast out and you're going to let it sit. and you're going to wait for that bobber to move up and down. If you have a type of lure, a rubber worm, a spinner, you're just like the other pole, just like the spin rod, you're going to want to reel in at a steady pace, give a little jerk. The point of a lure or pulling the line in is you want to entice the fish to hunt. So you want to intrigue its natural predatory behavior by dragging that worm or that little fish or spinner in front of it. Whereas with a bobber, you're putting something live on there that is just going to hang out, and the smell is going to attract them. So no matter which pole you're using, fishing is done pretty much the same way. The only real difference is how you get the string out there. So unlike the push button one, you're going to hold this one with the reel facing the ground. With the push button one, you hold it like this. With the spin rod, you're going to hold it like that. So that's another difference between the spin rod and the push button rod. To see the whole process start to finish, hit the button, hold it, don't let go, back, forward, release, it goes straight out in front of me. Turn this once to hear that click. Now the string can't come out again. And when you're ready, you have a fish or you're using a lure, reel in. So now we're going to do the same thing with the other pole. So hold the string, click the mechanism, cast out. Once it lands, make sure you click the mechanism again, and then you can reel in. And that is how you fish. Once you get really good at it, so I'm a right-hander, so I come from this way. Once you get good at it, you can also go over your head, so you can go straight. Oh, I caught grass. So when there's a lot of slack in the string, so I got caught on grass, so I pulled the weight up. Now there's all this slack in my string. If I just reel in, I'm going to create what's called a crow's nest or a jumble of string here. So what I do is I hold the string with my fingers up here. I put a little bit of tension so that when I reel in, it's just a little bit of tension. It keeps the string completely straight. And you can do this with either pole, with the spin rod or the push button. You just hold the string, and what that does is keeps a little tension. And then the other way to cast is you can do a backhand cast. So I'm going to hold it over here and then flick it that way. Same thing. And as long as there's some tension on it, you can reel in freely. If you have a whole bunch of slack, again, grab it a little. So today we went over two different types of fishing poles and reels. This is by no means a complete list. You can have a bait caster, a fly rod. There's lots of different fishing poles and reels that you can use. These were the two most basic and introductory in my mind and the easiest to use. Again, I apologize that we weren't able to do our family fishing day this June. We do it every year, so we will be doing it again probably next June. So make sure you keep an eye on our website, www.burksnature.org, our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with things so that you know when our next family fishing day is going to happen. Again, with the large groups in COVID, we can't gather, so enjoy the beautiful weather. It's starting to become warm in summer. Go get yourself a pole and go fishing. It's a lot of fun. It can be very relaxing. If you're having anxiety about staying inside right now or what's going on, just grab a pole, go find yourself a spot on a beautiful creek or pond and just throw it out there, relax and enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned anything. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Burks Nature. I'd be more than happy to answer some questions about fishing if you had them. And I hope we see you at one of our future programs. Thank you and have a great day.